All right, today we're going to talk about something every One Piece fan loves, the bounties. But look, this isn't going to be just another power level list. We're going to dig into what these massive numbers actually mean. Think of it like this. We're analyzing the world's threat economy, a crazy system where the world government puts a literal price tag on how much trouble you can cause. So let's just jump right in with the biggest question of all. What does a 5 billion berry bounty really mean? You see a number that big and you think, wow, that guy must be strong. And yeah, that's part of it, for sure. But it's so much more complicated than that. It tells a story about how the world sees you.
You see, a bounty is basically the world government's official threat level. It's a number that measures not just how hard you can punch, but how much you can shake up the entire system. And to really get a handle on this bounty inflation we're seeing, we're going to break down the key players into different tiers, starting from, the bottom of the top.
Okay, so let's get into our first tier. Breaking the 3 billion berry mark, that's the new entry fee to be considered one of the most dangerous people on the planet. It's a brand new, very exclusive club. And here are the 3 newest members. What's so wild is how they each represent a totally different kind of threat, right? You've got Luffy, this rising star, a revolutionary who's directly poking the hornet's nest of the highest authorities. Then there's Mihawk, who is just pure, unmatched combat power. And then you have Buggy, the ultimate wild card, whose threat is all about his reputation and influence, not really his own strength.
This quote just hits the nail on the head. It perfectly captures how absurd Buggy's bounty seems. And it proves the world government isn't just measuring who's the strongest. No, they're pricing in Buggy's massive network and the danger of the Cross Guild, the organization he's supposedly in charge of. It honestly makes his bounty one of the most fascinating case studies in this whole threat economy.
Okay, so let's climb the ladder. The next level up is the 4 billion club. This is what separates the new guys, the elite, from the forces that can literally destabilize the entire world. These aren't just pirates anymore, they're titans. I mean, look at these names. These people are basically institutions. They rule over their own territories, they command huge fleets, and their legacies have been built over decades. Their bounties, they don't just reflect their own power, but the full might of the empires they've built from the ground up. They're genuine world powers, on par with entire nations.
Now, take a look at that number for Kaido. Over 4.6 billion. For the longest time, that was the highest bounty for any pirate who was still active, and for a very good reason. This wasn't just some random number. It was the price tag that came with his title, the strongest creature in the world. It was the number they put on a seemingly unkillable, unstoppable force of nature.
So with all these insane numbers flying around today, you gotta ask, what was the gold standard before all this? Who were the guys that set the original bar for what it meant to be the absolute biggest threat? Well, let's talk about the legends. These two. These are the men who defined an entire era of piracy. Both of their bounties smashed through the 5 billion mark, and they represent the absolute peak of danger the world government had ever had to deal with from a pirate. You had Whitebeard, the man who could literally destroy the world, and then you had Roger, the man who actually conquered it.
And there it is. The number. Over 5.5 billion berries. The bounty on the one, the only, Pirate King Gol D. Roger. To this day, it's the highest confirmed bounty we've ever seen. This is the final boss, the absolute mountaintop that every single ambitious pirate since has been measured against. But there's one last person we have to consider, a man whose threat is so fundamentally different, so existentially dangerous to the whole world order, that his bounty might be, literally off the charts.
Pay attention to that title. He's not the most wanted pirate. He is the world's most wanted man. See, this isn't about finding treasure or conquering islands. This is a special, unique designation for the leader of the Revolutionary Army, the guy waging a direct ideological war against the system itself.
So here's the really crucial part. We know his bounty is a total mystery, but his title as the world's most wanted man came after Roger's time. And what that suggests is a level of threat that the world government now sees as even greater than the Pirate King. It's not a threat to find a treasure, it's a threat to their very existence.
So, what would a bounty like that even look like? Well, some speculation throws around these absolutely wild, almost comical numbers. Is this his actual bounty? Almost certainly not. No way. Instead, think of it as a thought experiment. A number so unbelievably huge that it's trying to quantify something you can't quantify. The threat of an idea that could bring the whole world crashing down. It's a bounty on revolution itself.
And that kind of leaves us with one last big question. This massive inflation we're seeing, from the new 3 billion club all the way up to these crazy ideas about Dragon, maybe it isn't just about the pirates getting stronger. Maybe, just maybe, it's a sign that the world is getting more and more unstable, and the system is finding it more and more expensive just to keep everything from falling apart. What do you think?